Well, hey, let's put it in gear and take it to Hastings.
Here we go.
Hey, welcome back to another episode of Road Noise. Dad and I were just catching up, as we often do. This is our weekly chance to just touch base and catch up on each other's lives, and also just a chance to share and reflect on God's faithfulness and in ministry and in our own personal lives, and to kind of continue to see His goodness. And that's why we're chatting. That's why we're recording these conversations, and hopefully they're an encouragement to you as you hear these stories. And so, yeah, I'm curious, Dad. Where you mentioned we're going to Hastings, which for
Yeah.
those that are listening, well, we've got some friends that are all over the world. They're not going to know where Hastings is at, but in the grand scheme of things, it's like going to the big city from where you live. It's not too awfully far, but it's also not a big city. So take it away.
Well, I don't know when people are going to be listening to this, but my oh my, we have had some hot days here in Michigan over the past 3 or 4 days. I mean, it has been hot, been in the mid 90s, and some humidity along with that. So anyway, it's time to cool off. So I thought on this episode, let's go back to the dead of winter several years ago. I mean, it was bitter cold, lots of snow, lots of wind. I mean, not a good time to be out and about. But, as many miles as we put on over the years, it's no surprise that we come across some pretty strange things as we drive. And that's kind of what happened here. I don't remember why it was that we had gone to Hastings. And like you said, Hastings is kind of the big city for us. It's I tell people, I've got to drive 25 minutes just to get to the closest McDonald's. Now I don't know why you'd drive 25 minutes to go to a McDonald's, but that's a different story. But that's the closest McDonald's to us is in Hastings. I don't believe we'd gone to McDonald's on this particular night, but we're coming back from Hastings and it is dark out. And like I said, it's in the dead of winter. The snow is blowing, the wind is howling, and we're on our way back, and we just got out of town, just a mile or two out of town, out of Hastings, and I noticed there's a car right in the middle of the road, right straight in front of us. Well, because of the weather, it wasn't going very fast, and had I been going fast and had to slam on the brakes, we'd been sliding all over the road. But as we got a little closer, I noticed that there was a guy that was walking right down the middle of the road, headed towards us. And I mean, no lights, didn't have a flashlight or anything, but I could kind of see him because he had left the four-way flashers on his car. Anyway, so I figured, okay, the guy's broke down or he's stuck, in the snowbank here or something. He's probably going to need some help. Well, anyway, so I approached slowly and stopped as I got to him, rolled the window down and asked if he needed some help. And that's when he shared the story. It seems like he and his girlfriend were headed out of Hastings, going the same direction that we were, and they got into some kind of heated argument. And apparently it got pretty nasty. And at one point, she reached over, turned the key off on the car, which caused the car to stop right there in the middle of the road, opened up the door, and threw those keys as far as she possibly could. She jumped out and took off walking back towards Hastings. Well, obviously he was upset, so he got out and instead of looking for her, he's going looking for his keys. But apparently somebody had come by that was headed towards Hastings, and they stopped and picked her up. So we never got to see her, just heard the story. Now, I don't know if he ever found those keys or not. Like I said, I asked if he needed any help, and he told me the story, and he says, no, you can just go on. He says, I'll be all right. And so we did. We left him there. The next time we went back to Hastings, I'm sure it was several days later, his car wasn't in the middle of the road. I don't know if he ever found his keys in the snowbank in the middle of the winter on a dark, snowy night, or if maybe the police had him tow it someplace where it'd be safe. My guess is that someday, maybe, I don't know, let's say 100 years from now, somebody is going to be exploring that area with a metal detector and come across a set of keys. Those keys would probably fit, yeah, probably fit the car, but 100 years from now, where's that car going to be? Will they even have cars 100 years from now? If they do, will cars still have keys? Well, in either case, I'm guessing these keys are going to be collector's items, because I doubt if that kid ever found those keys that night. But you know, as I reflected on that story and thought of that situation with this young couple, I have no idea what the argument was about, but obviously it got ugly and it was nasty. And for whatever reason, she figured out a way to get out of that situation by reaching over and just turning the key and shutting the engine off. And then, in order to get out of that situation, she threw the keys away and took off walking. In other words, she had a way of escape to get out of an ugly situation, which reminds me of 1 Corinthians 10:13. No temptation has overtaken you that's not common to man, but God is faithful, and he does not let you be tempted beyond your ability, but with the temptation, he will also provide a way of escape. You know, we all find ourselves in ugly situations at times, but I am so thankful that God is faithful, and if we are willing to look for it, God provides a way of escape. And so I just thought I'd share that story. Like I said, coming back from Hastings on a cold winter night versus the hot summer that we're in right now.
Yeah. What a great reminder. I'm also, like as you were telling that story and reflecting on that particular passage, it reminds me of the Lord's Prayer, where Christ modeled, lead us not into temptation, meaning like set the path forward, we'll follow. Like that's precisely what you referenced there in Corinthians as well. That's, yeah, what a great reminder.
You know, I guess if there's any, I'm going to say gals listening to this that ever get in a situation like that in a car and things are going south with some guy, that might be a good way, good thing to remember. Just grab those keys and get out of there.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of ways of escaping and so forth, did you hear about the math teacher that had a parrot and it escaped?
Nope, I haven't heard about this one, Dad.
So the math teachers just said polygon. That is really bad. But if we're talking about escaping, I heard that there was a prisoner escaped by putting paper towel over his face, and then he just walked out of the jail.
Hmm.
Now there's a bounty on his head.
Oh, good grief. Yep. Bounty.
But there's another prisoner that escaped using his cell phone. He didn't have any bars.
Yep.
All right, well, let's park it. Not in a snowdrift, though.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll park it here and yeah, we'll pick it up again next week.